And I suppose I'm starting now. Rosie, asleep with her favorite pink blanket. I sat down tonight and I heard something shift in the other room, and it was this, I'm gonna stop the music for a sec. I just wanted to tell you guys this, if anybody actually watches this video. I've been working on some very crazy stuff lately, mostly mazes, and this is actually my most recent Moleskin here, and I covered it in a maze itself. No, it's not solvable though, not that clever. But that's not the one I wanted to show you tonight. I did want to share with you. I'm rather proud of these. It's kind of ridiculous because they're just mazes, but they took me to do, and it was a process to figure out how to create intricate mazes. And someone aptly put tonight. I was just like. It was just flattering. They said that they were master mazes. And I was like, yeah, because I tried really hard to make these crazy. So this is the start, and this is the finish, and I did this. This is a composite of the most difficult kind of line structures that I can create without screwing up, because once you have to have this kind of thing started, I had a process to really figure out how not to goof up, because you make one mistake, you connect one wrong line while drawing the solution to a maze, and you've just wasted all that time, and they do take a little time. And also another maze I did, and you know what, I'm going to show you some more mazes that I did. Well, some other artwork here. Let me resume some music. So this is just like some flash stuff I did I guess the other day. I can't remember, and I think I posted something with this on it the other day as well. And I just liked it. I don't know. It felt really good to draw, and I just haven't quite finished it. I don't know if I will. It'll just go in a bin, or I'll send it out to somebody and see if they'll finish it. And I did this, and I'm still gonna get I gotta get a new yellow highlighter so I can kind of give this a nice sense of pop. Anyway, I don't know what for. Here's a maze in progress here, using some of the same design concepts I had before, but this time a much more intricate kind of trap setup. And some design elements that I'm working with here. I mirrored some stuff and whatnot and printed it out, and these are actually on sticker paper right now. And just kind of want to use them to fill some of the odd places that I left open. I left them open kind of intentionally in my Moleskins. And here's a mini maze I drew, and just trying to design a good way to take as much advantage of a small space and fill it with this pattern and try to be clever with it. And I also created this and this, and they are they're gonna go as the front and back cover to the coloring book I'm hoping to do. And also here's kind of a process thing. I'm going to include this with it, but it's basically how to use the negative space and the different ways I've learned from design elements how to create the mazes themselves. And the last iteration was that a lot of my mazes in the past had, they only went vertical and horizontal, and in these ones, the new ones here, I'm using shapes and I'm just breaking the lines in different ways, and just trying to find a way to really make some crazy mazes here. So here's just another set that I just finished. Each of these take me about maybe an hour or two to do, and so these larger ones, they take me a day. Maybe I'd say a solid maybe 5 hours to do. But here's one in the starts, and here's another one I did, and another one I did. And tonight I'm actually writing a friend. This is Jameson Tokes. I'm gonna finish this letter later on, but I'm gonna write it with this drawing in here, and I might even watercolor. I don't know. And just wanted to share with you that before I show you this very strange book that I made. Well, so this is my Djinn book, and I think I've shown some. I've done some video in the past of this design form that I have that just kind of a. Well, I can't explain it, to be honest with you. I can't explain it, but when I work or when I draw these little designs and stuff, there is a serene weirdness that opens up in my mind, and I just kind of go with it. And just wanted to show you, I put a little work into this, and it has really nice texture thanks to Mom. I have some decoupage, and so this is just I went through a weird period. I started this book when 6 months after my friend, my girlfriend Maribel moved back to Florida, and I had to move as well. And I moved here to live by myself and like a man-child who has all this wall space. I had to fill them, and so I really got manic about drawing and whatnot. But I also wanted to add content, and this book was actually I made it as a tribute to some of this weird research that I've done over the years, and I find certain things fascinating, like sorry, I'm taking a drag on my smoke. Like strange cults and doomsday predictions and weird weather patterns and aliens really exist and hollow earth and flat earth and all that stuff. I subscribe to looking at all of it because it really interests me. So this is actually some artwork that my friend Jordan did in my Moleskins. I let he's one of my friends from downstairs, and the people downstairs have been really nice to me, and every once in a while I let them draw in my books, and sometimes people from the coffee shop I'll let them draw on it as well, or at least write their name and a little something. I kind of get insistent, and people put up with it. So I did this, I started here with the hierarchy of angels, the Hebrew context, and kind of the breakdown of the angelic, the angelic hierarchy. And then also some other things that fascinated me, like the Sefer Yisrath, and tried to find these, these words that I couldn't retain in my everyday memory, but when you write something down, there's just that much more chance that you could remember it. And I know that in the years to come, this might be something really weird and wicked to look at, trying to figure out how I got so freaking weird. And, translation of the names of the angels, and some very important words that link and make reference to angels in the Torah. And here's the Christian angelic hierarchy. And it shows that these, again, it's just the hierarchy, and here's some light definitions of those things. And it was raining the day I was doing this. And and so it got a little goofed up, but I kind of like that quality about working in the Moleskins, I work meticulously on something, and it just kind of, sometimes life happens. And that's what I wanted for myself when I made these. I couldn't ever try and publish these or whatever. I've written way too many ridiculous, terrible things in them. Nothing I'd say illegal, just embarrassing, true things. So anyway, the angelic hierarchy. Here we go. So there's just a little bit more I did on the spheres and the different kinds, and here's a little artwork I found online about it. And just thought it was interesting to research. And then on to the Djinn. And this is the this is a mass design I did, made of these tiny little characters I kind of made up in my own language. And just really meticulous lines. I had a lot of fun doing all of them, and I think that's just kind of, I like density, and I think that's kind of apparent from some of the work that I've shown. I like things to be busy and complicated looking, and it's not everyone's bag, but it's definitely mine. And so this is just my research on the story of the Djinn, and also where they're linked to other religions, and basically just kind of the mythos behind them. And I've had some personal experience with some of the research that has gone into this, and I don't know. I'm kind of a strange guy. I've just had probably a little too much time to myself. But anyway, so here's a design that I did. I just played with the elements of something that I'd drawn before, and just overlaid things with black and white. And also I had some fun with some indie ink, just trying to give the pages a sense of their own, holding, I guess. Or I look at the books like they're little cells of the past, They're postcards from the past where I can write to myself. And just kind of remind myself of certain things and allow myself to be completely free of worrying about, like, this has got to be for something. I don't know, like that strange anticipation that people get. When starting a journal, I can't wait. I already know what I want to put on the next page, and sometimes I get carried away. While doing some of my weirdo research, right, I actually checked into this thing, the Lesser Key of Solomon, right? And I was looking into this, like, strange cryptic books and into just like bizarre things, all that Aleister Crowley type stuff. And all of a sudden, I needed to take a small break. I had this weird thing happen in the kitchen, and so I kind of marked this for myself. This was a glass that exploded in a cupboard while I was doing this, while I was researching this Lesser Key of Solomon. And I heard the glass break, and I searched and couldn't find where this glass had broken. And then weeks later, I was cleaning out my cabinets, and in the top cabinet was a single glass that I've never seen before. And it just exploded in the cabinet, all on its own. It's not sitting up against anything, and it was just a really weird and scary thing. So I just I knew I needed to press the brakes a little bit about what I was actually researching. But it just kept pouring out, and this is a kind of a mock version of some. Oh, hang on, I don't know. I don't want to get stopped for some weird copyright thing. Let me just find some different music real quick. I'll let you guys look at Rosie while she sleeps, while I choose something different to listen to. She really is my absolute inspiration. Right now, that dog keeps me afloat. That and anybody who might actually watch these videos and stuff and let me know that you're there. I always appreciate that. Alright, another friggin' commercial on the internet. And back to my weird book. And I'm gonna have to scoot back. I hope the light's okay. So I left these pages, just kind of some design work that I had done, that I just kind of, I did that by hand, and I tried my best. I made all the lines as straight as possible, and same here. And sometimes it's just like having that control and being able to tune out. Also, these are alchemic signs I found, and there was a thing that I wrote here. It was actually writing down a Wiccan spell thing, and weird stuff started happening, so I decided to scratch it out. I don't know if that, solves things, but it solved my paranoia for a little bit. But, I just kept playing with these really weird designs, and just kind of mishmashing things, just being free. And, just also wanted to, try to find the softer side of some of the mad things that I was drawing. At the time, I was drawing lots of scary tree heads and whatnot, and just wanted to get control of that line again. And so I created pages like this, which are kind of, I don't know, they're mythic. And, you know, I love H.P. Lovecraft and, you know, several other horror authors, especially Stephen King. And years ago, I created my own system of this design and the symbols and what they meant, or as far as I could best interpret them and differentiate them. And I created, well, basically a big book of this stuff. And here's some other weird, let's see, this is some strange books that I researched. The Codex Serfanianianis. That's a really strange one. If you get a chance to look that thing is up. It's crazy. The Book of Soyaga. And just, also the Roanoke Codex, and there was one more that I was going to do, and I let somebody at the Cup of Joe draw on the book instead. And I just think I like these little weird interruptions. They remind me of reality. While I'm drawing this, right? Yeah, I'm a weirdo in the back of a coffee shop. Drawing this stuff. And, you know, sometimes I get a little free and just, you know, I'll write whatever I want to, and I guess some of it could be interpreted as almost poetry, but it's really not fantastic stuff. It's rather embarrassing, but, you know, it's just more to fill a space. This is actually my rendition of the top of the Dark Tower. Yeah. And, just more of these symbols and strange things I wanted to include. Like I said, I just kind of do these things for the fun of it, because again, I guess it's all mine, but it's mine to share with. I guess now I have the opportunity to share it with you. So, here's some things I did on some glyphs, symbols that I found, and their translations. Some of them didn't have. I couldn't find any extra information, or it was so interconnected to certain other symbols in different languages that it just was going to require a lot more space than what I'd provided to myself, so I just kept on going and decided to incorporate a little scary weird stuff with some of this other crazy design method that I have. Also, the Memento Mori, and got the translation of each line, and, you know, found some weird alchemic symbols and intermixed them with some other symbols that I'd come across in angelic script. You know, just trying to make something truly weird. Yeah. And, you know, I realized that the page had bled, and I just kind of drew a quick little tree that's outside my apartment that I love to look at every morning. And here's an anglerfish. And I did kind of like a recant of kind of missing this girl who had left, and we're very good friends still, I think. And I just kind of had to move on, but I needed to record it for myself. And some more design stuff. This is on Sumer, and there's a good deal of information about it, and I guess I just use, like I said, I've got patches and patches of artwork that I can put into these books that I can kind of use to muddle up the format. But, you know, I got into drawing some mandalas and just really trying to get control of the pen. Also, I started a little storytelling of my own, and kind of in homage to things like H.P. Lovecraft and the writings of Stephen King, I started writing about, well, my own mythos, and including these characters and these locations and whatnot, just kind of just being totally nuts about it, actually, just allowing myself to write about things. And then I got an offer to do an art show. I started thinking about, you know, well, when I used to really I was doing a lot of art shows. I don't know if it would be a lot, but every year or so I would have one, and people would come out, and some people would actually travel just to come and see, and just was really pleasing. And so these are some of my old art cards, and also just kind of enjoyed the idea of stretching a design over the cross of where the page bends, and that effect that it can give, you know. So anyway, a lady and a dude, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like, I guess so. It's a dude. And here's some other little scraps that I have from over the years. Some I decided to color, and you know, I use red and orange and yellow highlighters sometimes on the back ends of things, and it really does. On bright white paper, it really can make it pop, but just alone inside the Moleskin, which sometimes has like a tanner finish to it, it kind of demotes some of that white, but I think the color still holds up. I was trying to find the center of happiness inside of myself while I was kind of going through some stuff. And it bled through the page, and so here's this little angry guy, kind of mad that I'd wasted that space, and I was like, I don't care. Just draw and write whatever I wanted to. And so I did, and I let some of my friends and a girl I had broken up with, well, that I started dating before this book, I let her write in this, as well as some other close friends. And I did this. Another design across a page, and this time make it really freaking creepy looking. And just like lots of eyeballs. There's this great freaking series of books called is it called Key House? Anyway, Stephen King's son did it, and he goes by a pseudonym, and it's called Lock and Key, that's it. And it's lock with an E at the end. Here's another picture of a lady in her hair. And I really love Hellboy. I love movies that Guillermo does, and especially the latest ones, the Pacific Rim ones. Those monsters are fantastic. And just kind of threw a little slime on him, and just wanted to play with color and design. So it's a little homage to that. And then back to taking some of the scraps of the things that I had just done in the past, and making sure that they had a little safe home, and then tossed everything else into the fireplace. And I go through once a month just to keep from accruing too much artwork that was never going to go anywhere, and I burn it, because I now have 7 bins full of artwork, random artwork. And also, this was I was sundown at Cup, and was drawing seahorses and escaping, and was trying to endure kind of some internal stuff that was going on, and trying to find my love of being free in art and not making it all dark. And was also remembering this was my dog that had died the same week that Maribel had moved away. My dog died, and her name was Penelope, and I loved her very much, and she was with me after my, she was with me through a relationship, and I was actually married, and it didn't work out, but I got to keep the dog, and I just felt, it was nice to have, it was just good to have her with me. And these were all her stuffed animals. She didn't actually ever eat them, and she always kept them nice, and I just thought that was kind of weird that she never destroyed her toys, which is not what Rosie does, because right now these remnants are, well, they're tiny little bits of fluff that she keeps underneath the coffee table right now. Anyway, and some pretty design stuff I did. And I got Rosie a couple months later, in I think November of that year. My brother called me and said, dude, listen, I love you. You need to have a dog. And I completely agree. I tried to wing it for a couple of months, and so I'm going to relight my cigarette. I let my, my brother said, listen, I've got a dog already for you, and it ended up being Rosie. And I really love this dog. Oh, gotta stop this. I don't want to get in trouble again for copyright stuff. In the meantime, watch Rosie. There you go. Let's see. Oh man. There's so much that I just don't know if it's licensed. And I know that this one is okay to play. So we're just going to do it again. Hope it's not obnoxious, but I kind of love this song. And it's wicked awesome to listen to during the winter and you're walking the dog in the morning and you really don't feel like doing anything else. And me in the morning, sometimes I feel kind of absolutely insane. So it's perfect walking music. Anyway, so I think I was showing you, Rosie, and I felt better and started trying to draw more pulpy type stuff and tried to find the mixture of drawing pulpy, cute-looking stuff and still incorporating crazy transmorphic monsters. And also, just some little notes to myself and the fact that I'm a total weirdo. This is a rendition. It's a real-life drawing. And some design stuff that I was working on. So I had to scooch back. I don't know if the light's real well, but my battery was about to die on my phone, and I just wanted to show you the whole book. And started to think about doing some mazes and stuff, and this was a girl who was really nice. I met her over at the coffee shop, and... Oh, wait. Oh, shoot, now I can't remember. Well, I have the story written here somewhere. And Alora, I still say thank you. I just can't remember why at the moment. And here's a monster I did, and I threw in those pretty, I don't know what you'd call these lines. They're just the most fun to draw and just to leave in. I don't know. There's something about the shapes. Anyway, more weirdness. I think another, I was writing about the pen I like to use and my favorite numbers and stuff like that. Some personal jazz. In this page, I went to town with. It was a lot of fun. There's a little devil guy and a little squiddy guy, multiple eyeballs, and here is just like a little barometer. This is happy and mad, and in between is this guy. And I wish I had a more clever explanation, but I really don't. I just sometimes I just start drawing something, and I went from this side of the page to just started drawing eyeballs and went into teeth, and I was just like, yep, there's a monster, let's put some horns on him and just go nuts. And then I wanted to branch all the way across the page, and so I used this, so I drew this guy on the other end and just made the two connect. And I just thought it was a nice way to break up the composition and just have fun with some indie ink. And it was Christmas time, and just wanted to remind myself some things, and I drew this while I was at my brother's house for Christmas that year. And, actually, this I drew at Cup of Joe the day before. Yeah. Oh, it was that night I left for my brother's place, that's why. And some other things that I was trying to remind myself to look at later on. Some addresses and things, so I don't post that. And also, I did a poster, and one of them was that, and here was another one for Cup of Joe. And I did here. And then I got back into this book called House of Leaves, and this is kind of my tribute to it. It is a really, really weird book by this dude right here. Mark Z, and you got me on how to pronounce that correctly. Yeah, I'm just kind of tried to make this look almost like a maze. And it's kind of one of the elements of the book, and itself, trying to read the book can make you kind of feel crazy. So, anyway, and I went on a rant about some people driving on their cell phones and texting and all that stuff, and then I drew this weird solar system of strange mythical places and forgotten geometry. and a little more storytelling. Decided that things needed a shape in one dimension or another, and I love to draw trees, and it's just something I love about the shape, and so I decided that everything was going to exist around this drawing I did of a tree outside. Yep. And here I got a red pen, and it was kind of a rough day, so I drew this guy. I just wanted to play with some grayscale markers and really make it look veiny and organic, but like it was like an organ, you know? Anyway, and some more weirdness, screamy head stuff. It's just one of my favorite things to draw is a screamy head. And this is kind of the end of this book. It was a postcard from the past, and I wrote myself a few things that were really important I wanted to remember. And it was on to the next book. So, just wanted to say thank you for letting me share, and I hope that, in the future I can share more with you. Again, I don't just work in Moleskins and stuff. This is a piece I'm quite proud of. This is just sitting in the living room chilling with me. I think I just love it a little too much to give it away to anyone. But anyway, so there's that, and like I said, I've done a number of these books. I actually have 28 of these that I've been doing since 2010. And here's some of the more recent ones. And just wanted to say thank you so much, and good night. Oh yeah, also, coloring book stuff. So, it's not a coloring book strictly. It's kind of a eccentrics, I guess, I don't know. Anyone got some good suggestions, let me know. But I'm going to call it Monsters, Mazes, and Madness. I think that's pretty much what it's going to be called, and I hope to get it out in July. Had my mom help me out, and my dad got me a cool printer with a scanner, and it's going to be time to put this thing together, because I have enough together now that I think can make something really interesting, and love to send that out into the world and see what also becomes of it. Well, thank you so much, and good evening.